I'm finishing up a space clearing, and so I'm doing my notes for it because there was so much. And this one was a lot of fun. I think they're all fun though, because I love feeling the land, and I never know what I'm going to be walking into. And I don't ask for a lot of information beforehand because then I can be scared with it. I do pray in the morning, and when I get to the space, I really check in with the body, and I check in with the land, and I tell the land who I am and what I'm here for, so that they can openly receive, and so that they can also give me information as I need it. So this is a residential community, and it's had a lot of turnover. It is also had a change in ownership, and they also changed their name. So they wanted to, one, increase the occupancy, two, find new workers, and also find peace with the workers here. And also they had the turnover where the old people that still live here, and they're actually very resentful and vengeful and doing bad things to the space. When I talked to them, I asked what the name was of the space before and what they changed it to. For some reason, and then if they were going to go through construction. So they changed ownership in April, and they changed the name then. The name used to be Avery, and now it's Sophie. So when I looked up the name, Avery means ruler of the elves, and Sophie means wisdom and skill. Oh, and the thing about wisdom here, I did a little space energy clearing with the current staff and then their intention. It was very just heartfelt with the staff, because now they feel more bonded together. And I had to get the trust of one of the person in particular, the maintenance guy. He was very kind, actually. He's very simple, but he just didn't quite understand it. But when I explained it to him, he was very open, and he was such an ally for me. I asked about which spaces needed help and such, because he's been here for 5 years, and so he knows what's going on. And so after I showed him what I do, he trusted it. He's like, well, then you really want to check out building F, and more in particular unit 205, and then also B, like 201. I was like, okay. Afterwards, when I installed the new energy of those two buildings, and then I ran into him, I talked to him, I understood why I had to. Also pull cards, my angel cards, and this one I just had to do 8. And so the 8 cards and the 8 energies is lucid dreams, selenite, mirror, moonstone, dolphin, passed over loved ones, fire opal, and mugwort. I don't quite understand what it is, why I pulled it, but if I need those energies, then I'll install it as I walk the space. And I don't go through every single apartment, okay? I just walk the perimeter, and I ask certain questions, and I clear it. And as I walk, I use my divining rods, in which I have it spin, and beforehand I tell them what I'm wanting to do, and that like this divining rod I define the space, will pick up any emotional distress adversely affecting the occupancy or the energy of the people that live here, the people that work here. You have to set the intention, you have to set the energy. And so wherever I go, I'm kind of like a tornado where I pick it up. This is easier on my energetic body, and I really don't do anything to it. I hold it still, and it spins on its own, and it'll stop as it needs, or like it'll tell me like when it stops that I need to maybe pay attention there or heal that spot. As I was walking it, I sensed the trees. I asked the trees to guide me, and I noticed the trees. And remember, I told you that this space means elves. The elves came out. And so the elves actually protect this land. It's actually very much of an elf land with like certain trees, and there is like a little area that has like a little river and a little bridge, and that's like near Unit B, which is one of the units that the maintenance guy told me I needed to go look at. So they stick around the B more, and that's like where their village is. And there's lots of different types of elves. These are wood elves, and so they're very simple, they're very kind, and they're just worker elves. The maintenance guy asked me if they're like big or small, and to us, they probably seem small. To them, they're big. So they're just energies, okay, and land. And so the elves actually really protect this space. The reason a lot of people had to leave is because they were protecting their space and it was time for them to go. And so as I install these energies, there's going to be one more wave of a cleanse that the elves are kind of responsible for helping, and it's necessary, and they won't really have new people coming in until January. And so as I tell these things to the staff and the managers, in this way they know how to ride the waves. It's not certain, but these are the indicators of the season. And if you know the season, then you can be aware, then you can ride it through, you can have solutions. The building B that I walked around, which is where the elves are more so around, I had to install the energy of hope. Didn't know why, but it needed to have hope. Oh, in this building too, there's like one unit that had like the Virgin Mary on the corner, and she's actually in the corner that reflects a lot of the energy from the street. So the person who lives there, even though they have a Virgin Mary there, she was a witch in another life. And so she protects that land, and she's kind of like the guardian right there. Very, very interesting, right? At least this is what they're telling me. So the building B, when I talked to the maintenance guy, he told me that a guy has shot himself in the corner right there, where the light is. So that's why I had to install hope at that building. So I asked if he lived there, and he said no, he was just visiting. And then I guess, like, I don't know what happened, but he went outside and he killed himself. So that's why I had to install hope there. And then in unit F, I had to install peace. Two totally different energies, peace. So when I asked about that one, said that the guy that lived there hung himself. And they didn't find him until a week later, in which then his body had bloated up because he also was on overdose. Two other people live there now, but I sensed that they would probably move in like a year. Then I suggested that they get baking soda and mix it with essential oils and sprinkle it onto the carpet ground there to help purify that space. And the essential oil that I recommended was rosemary. So I salted those two buildings to purify them. And I really use the energies of water more so with this space. Sometimes I use fire, sometimes I use water, sometimes I'm going around it and smoking tobacco to purify. It just depends on how big the space is and what the energies are there. Yeah, the elves are here to help, and I installed the energies of wave and wind in the lighthouse. And the lighthouse is to help people come home and to attract the workers that they need, the staff that they need here. May you be free, may you find peace, may you have grace and courage.